Continuing the chapter, the next adjustments we are going to discuss. Adjustment number 12. You give the heading goods distributed as samples. Okay, goods distributed as samples we have discussed before in the chapter journal. Why we means the firm, why we are distributing goods as free samples. That is to increase our sales. It is a sales promotion technique, or it can be called as advertisement expense. So, where will you show goods distributed as free samples when it comes as an adjustment? So, when it comes as an adjustment, we know that we have to write it 2 times. So, first what you have to do is, since we are distributing goods, that means we are losing goods. Instead of goods, we are using one another term instead of goods, which is that term that's always referred as purchases. Where you can find purchases in the financial statement, you can find purchases on the debit side of trading, isn't it? We usually write it as 2 purchases less returns outward, or less purchases return. So, now if you have goods distributed as free samples, since it reduces your goods, it should be deducted from, you simply write less samples, that is enough. Less sample or less advertisement you can write. Understood? So, purchases, from that you have to less because we are losing goods. This is one effect. Next effect is not in the balance sheet, it is in the P&L. Actually, there is no separation like P&L, no need to write a heading like this. You can simply continue. But now for you to understand, I am writing like this. P&L debit side, you must show it as 2 advertisement expense, or you can write 2 samples, or you can write 2 sales promotion expenses. Understood? The same amount we will write. So, this is the double effect. Deducted from purchases because it reduces your goods, then show it on the debit side of P&L because it is an advertisement expense. So, debit it in P&L. So, that is the double effect. Then usually this will be given as adjustment only, not in the trial balance. Then 13th one, goods taken by the proprietor for personal use or private use, that means for his own use. Okay, goods taken by the proprietor, P-R-O-P-R-I-E-T-O-R, okay, proprietor for his personal use. What is the term for that? That is drawings. So, when he is taking amount or goods for his own use, we will refer it as drawings. When he is withdrawing money, and if it is given inside the trial balance, if you see the previous questions, drawings usually written inside the trial balance, and we have recorded only once in the financial statement. You remember where it be recorded? Where it be recorded? Knowingly or unknowingly, you have recorded it on the liability side of the balance sheet by way of deduction from capital. You have written capital, add net profit, less drawings. Okay, that is the effect when it comes inside the trial balance. No need to repeat it, that you know already. Okay, no need to write it again. Then when it comes as an adjustment, when it comes outside the trial balance, what should we do? And here the heading is goods taken by the proprietor, not the amount. When he is taking goods, where it is affecting first? Just like this samples or advertisement expense, this goods taken by the proprietor for his personal use, since it is being taken by somebody, this will reduce your purchases. So, purchases less drawings you have to write first. This is one effect of drawings. Drawings means it is the goods withdrawn. Understood? Then later you have to show this in the balance sheet, not in P&L. It is in the balance sheet. That effect you know already. On the liability side, capital, we will write add net profit less drawings. So, it must be deducted from capital. So, this is the double effect of drawings. Deducted from purchases when it is goods withdrawn for personal use, deducted from purchases, that is one effect in trading. Then the next effect in the balance sheet, that is less it from capital, add net profit less drawings. Okay. Then we will work out one question, that is exercise question, practical problem 19.77, page number, practical problem number 16. So, go through the items, the adjustments you have to read first, put tick marks against items having adjustment. Now, we will start trading account. Now, usually we will be starting with 2 opening stock and all. In this question there is a difference. Did you see the second item, that is purchases, within brackets they have written adjusted, and we have discussed before about adjusted purchases. You remember adjusted purchases formula? 3 items are being adjusted in this. One is opening stock, then we have net purchases. Net purchases means total purchases less returns, that is net purchases. Okay, then less closing stock. So, 3 items are being adjusted in this adjusted purchases, and in this question we have this adjusted purchases amount is rupees 2,90,000. If you have adjusted purchase 2,90,000, so when you do trading account, what you have to write is on the debit side 2 adjusted purchases 2,90,000. If you are writing like this, should we write opening stock on the debit side again? No, because already it is included in this adjusted purchases. Understood? Because this is the formula. 3 items are getting adjusted, that is opening stock, then the purchases and the closing stock. So, opening stock already they have included in this 2,90,000. Again, no need to write 2 opening stock. You can directly start with 2 adjusted purchase 2,90,000. Understood? Now, should we write buy closing stock on the credit side? No. Closing stock will not be written on the credit side. Again, closing stock is being adjusted in this 2,90,000. So, opening stock and closing stock you need not write in trading. Instead, you just have to write 2 adjusted purchases 2,90,000, because that value includes all these. Again, don't record. And in these type of questions, when you see adjusted purchases inside the trial balance, in such questions, closing stock will appear inside the trial balance. Since closing stock is adjusted here already, it will not be written as an adjustment. It will come inside the trial balance. You see the left side, the last item, did you see inside the trial balance? It is the closing stock. So, we know that when we see an item inside the trial balance, we need to write it only once. So, where will you write this closing stock? The basic nature is an asset. So, take it to the balance sheet. Understood? So, adjusted purchases means all these are adjusted and no need to show opening stock and closing stock in the trading account. So, we will start trading account with adjusted purchases. So, 2 adjusted purchases, the amount is 2,90,000. Then we will record all other direct expenses. We have wages for rupees 10,000. Okay, before that we have again with purchases we will be adjusting one item usually, that is purchases returns. In the same way, you have to see whether you have any goods distributed as free samples and all. So, you would have put a tick mark against this purchases, no, because there is adjustment for. Did you all put tick marks? Again salary you need to then against insurance, against furniture and building, then against stock. Actually, it is the purchase is getting affected by this Ashok's drawings. Did you see adjustment for? Ashok is taking goods for personal use. So, that will have the double effect. First deducted from purchases, later you show it on the debits, on the liability side of the balance sheet. So, it is affecting the drawings and the capital figure. You can put tick marks against purchases. Sorry, it is affecting the purchases. So, put tick marks against purchases and capital. Then the last one is provision on debtors. Here there is an existing provision. Did you see? There is an existing provision, but that is provision for depreciation on furniture. Here adjustment 5 is about provision for doubtful debts. Both are different. Understood? Both are entirely different items. So, here we have to put a tick mark against debtors. Okay, now this purchases is having one item. We have to deduct one item to be deducted from purchases, that is purchases less returns. So, you just see the items given there. Do we have any returns there? No, we do not have any purchases return in the question, but again we have put a tick mark against purchases. No, why? Because there is drawings. So, just write this 2,90,000 in the inner column, and from this we have to less drawings. The amount is 1,500 withdrawn for personal use. So, write within brackets since it is negative, since it is deduction. Next, you can write all of the direct expenses like wages and all. So, wages here is 10,000. Other than this, did you see one item like wages outstanding? Wages usually will be written here on the debit side of trading, and if there is outstanding wages, you will add it here. But in this question, wages outstanding will not be taken here because it is not an adjustment. Wages outstanding is written inside the trial balance. It is not an adjustment. Now, where will you record this item? See the basic nature. Basic nature is a current liability. So, you have to take it only in the balance sheet. Okay, nothing to be recorded here. Then on the credit side, we do not have any other direct expenses. So, on the credit side, we will write buy sales. We do not have any returns. So, we can directly write the amount in the outer column, 5,29,500. Then closing stock will you write? No, it is adjusted in this adjusted purchases. So, find the balancing figure. The gross profit, it is 2,31,000 to gross profit carry down. Amount is 5,29,500. So, we will start P and L now. It is by gross profit brought down 2,31,000. Now, we will go through the trial balance items, the indirect expenses we have to record. So, we have the first one like salary. So, we will start with salary. See whether it is having an adjustment. Did we put a tick mark? Yes, salary is having an adjustment. So, write the amount in the inner column. Salary is having two adjustments. One is 1,000 rupees unpaid, that is your outstanding amount. So, you write add outstanding 1,000. So, now it is 6,000. There is one more adjustment with the same transaction. Balance in the account included 800 paid in advance. So, you must remember paid in advance and received in advance, both are different. Paid in advance means it is prepaid, which is an asset actually. Then received in advance means it is an income. I mean, it is not an income, the nature is an asset, nature is a liability actually. Receiving something in advance is a liability, paying in advance is an asset. and here it is paid in advance, that is prepaid. And what is the adjustment for prepaid? It is less prepaid. Understood? Received in advance also will be deducted. It is a liability, it will be deducted, but everything will be on the credit side. Okay. Okay, now prepaid or paid in advance, why it is being deducted? It's like for next year you have paid this year. So that is actually next year's expense. That's why we are deducting it from this year's amount. It shouldn't reduce this year's profit. So we'll deduct it. Okay. So that is the effect of prepaid. We have discussed in video 1 or 2. So less prepaid, that is 800. This is how you have to write salary. Then we have bad debts. For bad debts, immediately you have to see whether you have any adjustment regarding that. For bad debts, see they have given like provision for doubtful debts. Did you see? So usually with bad debts you will write add further bad debts, add new provision, less old provision. So now when you write this bad debts, this is not an adjustment, this is existing bad debts. Only in the P&L you need to write. Bad debts we will write first 2000 in the inner column. Then do we have any further bad debts? No, but we have new provision in the question. Did you see the last adjustment, provision for doubtful debts? That we will take now, and you have to compute 10% on debtors. Debtors figure is 25,000. So we will do 25,000 into 10%. It is 2,500. Don't deduct this bad debts from 25,000. What I have told you is debtors less further bad debts. Further bad debts means one which is given as adjustment. Here we don't have further bad debts. This is existing bad debts. No need to deduct that 2,000 from debtors figure. There is no further bad debts here. So directly we computed on debtors 25,000. So bad debts, add new provision. So this will be 4,500. Then we have the next item, rent, which is not having any adjustment. Directly you can write in the outer column. So to rent, the amount is 5,000. Then we have prepaid rent, but don't write it here. It is coming inside the trial balance, not an adjustment. So where will you write? Prepaid is an asset for you, which should be shown only on the asset side of the balance sheet. Suppose prepaid rent was adjustment, then you can write it here, less prepaid, again in the balance sheet it will. So here next is insurance, which is having an adjustment. You can see put a tick mark against insurance. Insurance amount is 5,000. Then there is adjustment for insurance like prepaid, so less prepaid. The amount is 2,000. Okay. In this trial balance, in this question, they have separated the debit side and credit side. So it's easy for you to identify actually. Did you see on the top the amount column they have written DRCR. So whatever you are writing now on the debit side, you need to refer only the left side of the question. In this question, certain questions they will mix up and give. So here we just have to refer the left side. So now we finished all items on the debit side. Go through the adjustments once again. Salary we considered, insurance we considered, depreciation we have to do now. So once you finish trial balance, read adjustments always. To depreciation on, we have furniture and then building. Depreciation on furniture, it is 6,000, and to depreciation on building, the amount is 7,500, that is 1,50,000 into 5%. Then stock taken for personal use, drawings we have now we have already shown in the trading, less it from purchases. Again we have to show in the balance sheet, not here. Then provision for debtors we have recorded already. Yes, so now we have finished all items. What we have to write now is the credit side. Credit side, for that you look into the trial balance again. That's the credit side or the right side given there. Capital, no need to take here. Sales, wages outstanding will not come here. Provision for depreciation on furniture. Okay, listen. Provision for depreciation on furniture coming inside the trial balance. How many times will you write? Only once. Where will you write? See the basic nature of provision. The basic nature is it is a current liability, because we are keeping it aside as provision. We are taking the amount out of the profit and keeping it aside. So, it is a current liability for the firm. It is shown only on the liability side of the balance sheet. But usually, instead of showing it on the liability side, see how will you show provision for doubtful debts or provision for bad debts? Instead of writing it on the liability side, we are deducting it from debtors. Debtors less for the bad debts, less new provision you are writing. It is correct even if you write on the liability side, because the basic nature of provision is that it is a liability. Okay? But the way of format is you have to deduct it from debtors, because it is affecting the debtors figure, we will less it from debtors. Similarly, this provision for depreciation on furniture, you can either show it on the liability side, or the usual way of presentation is deduct it from here. It is affecting the furniture figure, less it from furniture, less depreciation you will write. No, just similar to this you can write less provision for depreciation. So, deduct it from furniture, that is how we are going to show that. Don't show it on both sides, either on the liability or on asset side as deduction. So, that we will take later in the balance sheet. Then there is something like apprentice premium. Apprenticeship means, see, or apprentice. Apprentice means a person who is learning a skilled trade, or who is learning a trade or an art under a skilled employer. Okay? So, that person is called apprentice. From that person, the firm will be getting an income. That means a charge will be taken from that person who is given an employment. It is not like an employment, actually it is a training in a specific trade or an art. For that we will be charging him, and that is an income for us. It is called apprenticeship premium. Since it is an income, this must come in the P&L account on which side? On the credit side. This is a new item for you. So, note down, that is by apprentice premium, the amount is 500. Yes. So, with that your items on both sides are over. You find the balancing figure of your P&L. Here we are getting a net profit. So, to net profit transferred to capital account. The amount is 2,300,000. The total is 2,31,500. So, credit side also we will write the same amount, 2,31,500. Now, we will start the balance sheet. Okay, the balance sheet items, we will start with capital as usual. Capital, it is 30,000 in a column. Add net profit, that is 2,300,000, less drawings, but here we have to consider the adjustment drawings also. Drawings in the trial balance, inside the trial balance we have drawings of rupees 5,000. Then as adjustment also we have one drawings, that is adjustment 4. Ashok has taken stock for his personal use, that is also drawings. So that 1,500 we have to add with this drawings. So less altogether 6,500. So it is 2,23,800 in the outer column. Draw a small line always in the inner column before you write the final in the outer. Okay, next what you have to do is again see the trial balance items. Which side you should refer? Should we refer both sides? Usually yes, you will have to, but here they have separated the debits and credit balances, and since we are writing liability side, what you have to do is just go through the credit side of trial balance, then the adjustments. Understood? No need to waste your time. So when they have separated like this, it's easy for you. So just go through the credit side, because liabilities will be having a credit balance. So we have wages outstanding, which must come here only in the balance sheet. We have to record this because it's not an adjustment now. Then provision for depreciation on furniture will less from furniture. If you want, you can write it here, no problem, but usually it is deducted from furniture. Apprentice premium we wrote, then next is creditors. Now we have to go through adjustments also. First adjustment we have salary outstanding. So we will take here salary outstanding, it is 1,000. Then the next is salary prepaid, insurance prepaid and all these are assets. Drawings we already deducted, provision we will less it from debtors. So the liability side is over. Asset side, which is the first asset given there, building, it is having an adjustment. So building 1,50,000 less depreciation. The amount is, okay, depreciation. Did you see that adjustment depreciation on building 5%, and that 5% we have computed, and the depreciation figure is 7,500. It's already computed, it's there in P&L. So it is 1,42,500. Then the next is furniture. Furniture amount is 60,000 less depreciation. Did you see one item like provision for depreciation on furniture inside the trial balance? That also you have to consider. Other than that, there is adjustment for depreciation on furniture, and that we have computed depreciation on furniture, we got 6,000. 10% on 60,000 we computed, we got 6,000. Other than that, inside the trial balance we have provision for depreciation on furniture, the same thing we have. So these two you have to add and take. So altogether what you have to deduct is 18,000. Understood? So outer column we have to write 42,000. So this provision for depreciation on furniture, you should remember when you deduct depreciation, not only the adjustment figure, the 6,000 is the adjustment figure, 12,000 is given inside the trial balance, which we already discussed that we have to deduct from furniture. This is how you have to show the effect. Okay, then the debit side only we need to refer, debit side of the trial balance. So building we wrote, furniture we wrote, then closing stock is there and it is given inside the trial balance, that should come on the asset side. And in this question we are recording it only in the balance sheet. So now your trial balance items are over. Go through the adjustments. Now before that we have sundry debtors inside the trial balance. About closing stock we have sundry debtors. So you can write that first. Sundry debtors 25,000. Even if you miss the order, that's okay, you write all items clearly. Sundry debtors 25,000 less we have a provision for bad debts or doubtful debts, both are same. So provision for doubtful debts, already we have computed the figure in the P&L. So it is 22,500. Okay, now we'll read the adjustments once again. We have prepaid salary, which is an asset. The other side of trial balance we didn't refer because credit side means assets will not be having credit balance. So no need to refer the credit side when you write the asset side. So prepaid salary is 800. Then we have like prepaid insurance, 2000. Yes, then inside the trial balance, did you see one prepaid rent that we missed before? Prepaid rent is there inside the trial balance. Prepaid rent is an asset. Basically, it's an asset. So that must come here on the asset side, and we have to record it only on the asset side since it is not an adjustment. 3000 that we had to write before. We missed that item. So when you go through the items, very carefully you have to go through. Now even I missed out one item. So yes, prepaid rent also you have to record. So now you add the balance sheet. It is, yes, we recorded all items, closing stock, everything we recorded. So it is 2,52,800 on both sides. Yes, closing stock we have recorded. Okay, so with that, the question is over. Here we had some new items. So many items were given inside the trial balance, like this prepaid rent and all. Usually all these will be given as adjustment, but here prepaid rent, then wages outstanding that we recorded here on the liability side, wages outstanding. See, so all these were given inside the trial balance and that provision for depreciation. So that question you have to repeat 2-3 times, then only you will be able to do it yourself.